I'm having a hard time understanding and wrapping my head around some things that you talk about, in that when someone dies, it's actually what they want to find relief.
It's not always that. From their physical perspective, they may very well not be ready to go, but they may have developed enough resistance that in the scheme of everything, that really is the path of least resistance. We want to talk about this because you're in a position to really hear this more than most. We can feel the precision of your asking in a place that you'll receive this easily. Most important, there is no death, because we are all eternal beings. So you do not cease to be, not for a moment. And when you are making your reemergence back into non-physical, there's no loss of continuity. There's no sense of not knowing what's going on. In fact, it's the perfect and total blending, where the things that you've most recently been asking for are really acutely at the top of mind. And so as you reemerge into non-physical, you feel a real fullness of all of that. It's a wonderful, wonderful experience. But we are not saying that every single person at the moment that they make their transition, or as it's leading up to that, couldn't have lived happily longer in their physical body. It doesn't mean that it was meant to be. You're making those choices. But what humans don't understand is that they're making choices vibrationally. It's like when someone says, I love you, and they really don't, because they're saying that, don't you know I love you? And in that moment, they're not loving you, they're wanting to love you. And people use words all the time that are different from the vibrations that they're emanating at the same moment. So there are a lot of people that are screaming of their zest and love for life while they're protesting everything. They're pushing against so many aspects of life that they've got themselves walled off from all of their resources. So they're not living in joy. And that's what we were mostly referring to in that conversation that you were talking about, that the path of least resistance is happy. It's joy.
But you see some people pass, though, and they're like in the prime of their life. It looks like they're enjoying life. It looks like they're in joy, but yet they still pass.
Well, you can't know for anybody else.
Yeah.
You don't know what the balance of their vibration is. You don't know what their intentions were coming in. In other words, you just don't know. There are people that look like they are at the top of their happy game who are miserable too. We're happy to get into any details you want to, but it's not productive to try to figure out whether that person really meant to leave or whether it was an accident. And we have to say there aren't any accidents. There is always a blending of intentions. And sometimes people get themselves so resistant to all that they've been asking for. Oh, this will explain it the best that we've ever explained it. So here's how it goes. So,
can't wait.
You're ready for this?
I'm ready.
So, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. But what you do want feels weird to you because you're acclimated more about what you don't want. But now you're hearing this, and so you've decided to talk about what you want and why you want it. And you manage to align with it more than you ever have before. You're now becoming one of the cooperative components. And here's why. When you launch a rocket of desire, the non-physical you focuses on that desire. Now that non-physical you stands in a place, a state of non-resistance. So when your inner being focuses upon your desire with you, with no resistance, the law of attraction is gathering the cooperative components in a really powerful way. So this vibrational version of your life is amassing cooperative components. It is becoming. So here you are back in your body in our analogy, and you know what you don't want. You're launching these rockets of desire, and your inner being is focused there. And then you come into alignment, let's say, with this desire. And so you come together, and now this manifestation can come into your experience because there's nothing going on with you that is holding it away from you. So now you stand with this new manifestation and also a new set of contrasting experiences giving you more of knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want. So this process just continues to become and become and become. Some people ask and protest and ask and protest and ask and protest and ask and protest. So their inner being has gathered up a whole lot of cooperative components. And even though they're standing in great resistance, they really are now a cooperative component to what they're asking for, because they're asking for peace and love and understanding, and they haven't been able to find it, but it is over here. It is here. And so even though from the physical point of view, it looks like something has gone wrong because they were young, they still have children, they were talking a good game, but they were a cooperative component. And this is the part that you started with that we want to relay back to you. You are 100% of the time, when you reemerge into non-physical, a cooperative component to your source energy, who holds all of your intentions, you see. So, yeah, that's nice to know, isn't it? But let's also acknowledge that that is exactly the same description of you and everything that you care about. The reason abundance isn't coming in the way you may want it to is because you're still noticing that it isn't there, or protesting those who have it. In other words, it's always the same. So here's the statement that we want to cap this off with. When you want something enough, we can say that better. When you are asking with strong enough fervor, when you really, 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 really want something, it reaches a point where what you believe is not a factor. And that's why we say it's always perfect. It always is. Of course, you didn't intend to come, mess up your life, and then need to reemerge to save yourself. You really wanted to come into this experience and ask for things and figure out how to calibrate to them so they could manifest in your experience. Manifestation is the furthest, most reaching part. It's the leading edge of all things. It's nice to dream about things and to imagine them and to want them, but it is so delicious to be a witness to your own creation as things manifest into your experience. That's what you came for. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Really good.
Appreciate it.